On this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock,
Elon has more ideas about how to save his platform. What'd you expect?
a Google Ads exec has some damning testimony that should have you shaking in your cushions.
Twice is not nice. We tell you why you need to check in on your conversion tracking in Google Ads.
All on today's show.
Welcome, you are listening to Marketing O'Clock. Just stay tuned. Digital marketing news, but let's get specific. Digital ads, SEO and analytics, social media and more. Pretty much everything that'll make your website perform. With new shows every Friday. We give you the news with sass and puns and definitely hot takes. Thank you for tuning in. You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. Settle in, sit back, keep it locked.
Hey there, I'm Greg Finn,
I'm Jess Budd,
And I'm Christine Zernheld.
aka Shep,
and it is officially Marketing O'Clock.
here on September 22nd, 2023. Welcome back again, second week in a row.
Thank
Amazing
you.
time had last week. Shep, what's going on with you?
Well, I just wanted to start by giving a little thanks. People were really nice to me on X.
There you go.
I don't want to call it that.
You have to.
But a lot of people were like really nice about me coming back to the show, so I appreciate it. But it kind of inflated my ego, I think, because it was Sunday night and I just got a little crazy. And I was like, I'm going to post a real life X on my BizX.
I thought
Formerly
did you
known as
mean-
Biz Twitter.
Did you mean to post on your corporate X or did you?
I don't use my real X anymore.
Okay.
It was like mostly about The Bachelor, and now I don't watch it anymore.
Okay.
So it's been archived. But something just compelled me because we were watching Sunday Night Football. You guys know I have nothing but respect for Queen Carrie Underwood, our American Idol. She came on. It was my first time seeing the Sunday Night Football theme this year. Last year, you'll remember I rewrote the lyrics to send the kids to bed. And she all of a sudden in the middle of it just starts playing the drums and she looks amazing. And someone else in the room who should remain nameless because now I want to protect that person was like, there's no way she's really playing the drums. So I tweeted a poll. Do you think Carrie Underwood can really play the drums? I didn't say I doubted her for a second. I just wanted to prove a point to someone else. And Carrie Underwood fan Twitter came for me.
Did they?
Some guy was like, dumb question.
He might have meant that, like, there's no way she does, right? You
No.
think he was defending her?
I definitely showed up in like the Carrie Underwood stan and they all like decided that I was the enemy. Somebody else sent a video evidence of her playing the drums at a tour. Like, I just feel like I need to go on the record. I have nothing but respect for our American Idol, Carrie Underwood, and I will never tweet non-biz. or
No,
X.
how many votes did you get on that?
209.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
lot.
good. That's good. You
It's
want
good
to post
engagement.
interesting things. You want to be yourself. You want to be authentic. That's authentic. And if you get haters, it means you're doing something good.
I would never besmirch her name. She can probably play the drums with her feet. She's amazing.
She is a drum as far as I'm concerned. Like, she's great.
Yeah, so I had to just release that statement, but thank you for all the well wishes.
All right. Well, something going interesting in my life is Shep has put me into full-on body dysmorphia along with somebody else in my life. Shep comes back and is like, hey, you're skinny, Greg. And so I've been keto for 15 months and I've got multiple people in my life calling me skinny now. So I broke keto for 15 months of doing it.
Is skinny a diss?
I think so. Right? Is
I
it?
don't know anymore. I don't know anymore.
That you don't weigh enough.
That's when people say, you don't look good. You need to gain weight.
Okay. Well, anyway, I took that and, of course, turned it into more body
I would
dysmorphia.
never body dysmorph you.
Well, you did. Thank you. And so I went
Way to
off.
make that a verb.
So I went off of keto and I did it in the absolute worst possible way. I was picking Heather up. I went to the gym in the morning and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this weight gainer. So I poured this mix of weight gainer, 4 scoops in, and mixed it up, and I drank it on the way to go pick up Heather. And I got to the parking lot we were going to meet at, and I just start feeling terrible. Heather's like, I'm running behind. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm feeling like I got hit by a truck. And I looked at the ingredients. Again, on a good day, I might have like 10 carbohydrates in keto.
You're insane.
The shake I had 250 carbohydrates in it, and I just pounded it. And I felt so bad.
Did you get diarrhea? Like, what happened?
No, I mean, your gastrointestinal system works very differently. I don't know how you people eat carbs. It's just It just goes through you. It's disgusting.
What was your
So you
goal
did
with the
get
weight
diarrhea.
gainer?
I'm trying to gain weight so that I don't get called skinny.
I really don't even remember calling you skinny. I've definitely meant it as a compliment.
Well,
if I did.
anyway, that's where I'm at. Weight gainer, not going to be skinny girl.
That sounds like what Regina George ate in Mean Girls. The bars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did.
It's in
I watched
Swedish.
part of that movie. That was funny.
Mhm.
That part. All right. First up this week, shocking news out of the antitrust investigation by the Department of Justice into Google. And this comes from Yahoo by way of Bloomberg. And I'm going to read some of these things so that the facts are out here because I might just go off the rails on this. Alphabet Inc.'s Google has tweaked its advertising auctions to ensure it meets revenue targets, sometimes increasing ad prices by as much as 5%. An executive for the company testified Monday at a federal antitrust trial. He went on later to say it could be up to 10%. So it is Jerry Dishler, the vice president for Google's advertising products, says that the company frequently makes changes to the auctions it uses to sell search ads, the text and shopping promotions that are at the top of the results pages. The article goes on to say, those changes can involve increasing the cost of ads or minimum spending on an ad, known as the reserve pricing. He said, even when those tunings impact ad prices, Google typically doesn't tell advertisers, Dishler testified. And his quote from him is, we tend not to tell advertisers about pricing changes. So in one May 2019 email, Dishler and his team discussed how they were shaking the cushions to find potential changes to the ad auctions that would ensure Google met the revenue targets that the chief financial officer had conveyed to Wall Street for the quarter. And that shaking the cushions is an exact quote from Mr. Dishler. He said, if we don't meet, quote, quota for the second quarter in a row, and we miss the street's expectations again, which is not what Ruth signaled to the street, so we will get punished pretty bad in the market, according to Dishler. And he says, I care more about revenue than the average person, but I think we can all agree that for our teams trying to live in high-cost areas, another $100,000 in stock price loss will not be great for morale, not to mention the huge impact on our sales team. In a response by Department of Justice lawyer David Dahlquist, Dishler acknowledged that he had said in a sworn 2022 interview that some of the auction changes led to 5% increases for the typical advertiser. He also said that it was possible that some changes led to price increases of as much as 10% for some queries. So then Dishler went on to say that it might be a dangerous thing to do if they move the prices up by 15%, and that more advertisers would move to rivals like Meta or ByteDance, aka TikTok. And even further on, he said, Amazon is able to get better data than we are on the effectiveness of their advertising. Dishler said that has caused budgets to shift, hence the need to shake the cushions a little bit.
It's finding nothing but popcorn in my couch.
So this is disheartening in a myriad of ways, I'd say. First, and just my quick take on this is, the biggest detriment, I would say, is that this loses all trust and credibility, right? Like, that's all you have in life is your word. And they're out there saying, oh, do smart bidding. Oh, do this. Oh, we could see about the same conversions. And now you're admitting that you are trying to hit your quarterly numbers so that your morale of your people living in high cost areas is up. Yeah, that's at the expense of the small businesses you pretend to care about. That money doesn't just appear. It comes out of every small business and big business's pocket that's using your platform.
It's so messed up.
And I think everybody knows this, right? That's the thing. Like, people know this.
It's not surprising at all, but
no one should be shocked.
You want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and you're out there being like, "Oh yeah, we care about. Oh, look at this, blah blah blah. Everything's so nice and fuzzy, and all these Google marketing lives." But the minute that you got to hit these marks, they ratchet the spend up, or ratchet the revenue up with ways from 5 to up to 10%. I'm just going to read some more reactions from the community. PPC Greg said, at what point do we stop calling this an auction? It's a great point. Tim responded to him and said, this is not an auction at Tim Zils on X and says, when you allow the owners of the auction house to control the data and control the pricing and do it in secret, well, it's ripe for abuse. And of course, you knew this is happening. So Anthony Hickman says, so I always knew this was the case, but to see it actually stated by the VP of ads is astounding. And what do you think smart bidding is? A smart way for Google to be able to easily manipulate ad prices. Shaking my head. Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail on Twitter said, are all the advertisers agonizing over how can I make this channel work just for me? Am I doing something wrong? Is this just too competitive for me? Is it my offer? Is it my feed? What can I do to fix this? And maybe it's an exec telling an engineer to tune the dials. And then a professional Google troll at Ben_Kruger said, guys, they're running a business. They can do whatever they want with their prices, just like you and your clients can. Ben's point is fair. You can do whatever you want, but just don't tell me that you're doing things in my best interest. You no longer can say that, and I can no longer trust you on anything that you say and do because you're out here tuning up, shaking the cushions to hit quarterly profit numbers. And then Mike Ryan responded and said, guess what, Ben? When we raise prices, we tell our clients. This is a vast, almost fully automated environment where we're told to trust Google, stop tinkering so much, and trust the systems they've built. So then there's some back and forth about, isn't this what retailers do sometimes? Sam Tomlinson at Digital Sam I Am talked about, oh yeah, banks and financial institutions can have hidden to non-financial people rates, all that stuff, and that it happens every day. The same thing happens with retailers. They may buy a larger order, lower their cost of goods sold, and keep their prices fixed. Anyway, Gil Gildner responded and said, isn't the difference that retailers don't market it as an auction? It's fine if the retailer's margin increases on the back end. In Google's case, the problem is that it's marketed as an auction with bids and bid strategy. That terminology is increasingly misleading at best. You're out there saying, hey, increase this, do this, your auction, you gotta win. And at the end of the day, there are factors outside of your control, factors that only matter to the sales team and the people living in high-income areas at Google that are going to hurt your campaign. I guarantee they've never moved it down 5%. All right, and then PPC Kirk at PPC Kirk on Twitter said, my issue isn't that they don't keep their prices fixed, that they, one, set up the prices as an auction, a fair market competition, and then two, they introduce other influencing factors that have nothing to do with fair market competition. I'm not going to say it's illegal. I'm going to say it's a big hit to trust with advertisers. Nailed it. Mm-hmm. And then there was another piece of testimony that said, one change that increased Google revenue, known as RGSP, switched the auction so the runner-up was given the top advertiser slot and the actual winner the second spot, according to Dishler. Oftentimes, major advertisers like Amazon.com Inc. or Booking Holdings wins any ad auctions where they bid and take the top slot. With RGSP, quote, we flip them, end quote, Dishler says. Otherwise, Amazon always shows up on top. Crazy. So they're
just doing whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So you're out there trying to get the highest bid, and they're swapping the winner of the auction that they market as the auction. Nobody's just saying, hey, this is an auction. We got bidding strategies. We're going to try to do, and you bid, and if you're too high, you're getting switched because of RGSP.
This is why manual bidding doesn't work.
Yes. And so Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail said, my head continues to explode. This detail was lost under the whole 10% thing. Google swapped winners and runners up. It increased revenue, but, quote, they don't know why, unquote. I had explode emoji. Mm-hmm. Implicitly, the action was taken for other reasons, to suppress top advertisers, and had happy side effects. So yeah, people are up there bidding, a high bid, and then they're saying that they're not number one. And so they see that they're in an auction, they're bidding higher. And so then they're still number two, bidding higher, and they're making increased bidding wars because you can bid high. And if you bid the highest, it means that you're not at the top. What world are we living in? What world is this, Shep?
A monopoly.
It's ridiculous. And then Andrew Goodman at Andrew_Goodman says, this feels like something that started out as an anti-competitive move against Amazon. And then they realized it could morph into a generalized, quote, underhanded revenue booster number 381, end quote. Yeah. No, you know what? We're trying to stop Amazon. We realized we can make people bid higher because the highest bid doesn't show up first. So that's another thing that they can just do. And then another great point about the whole thing comes from Anthony Hickman. And he says, what's crazier and what no one is talking about is keyword matching. So not only did they increase the price of queries to keywords, but every time they needed to make up revenue, they opened the floodgates of what can match to what. That is the real crime, not to mention RSAs. I could go on and on. You can literally map it out with Google changes and Google stock. And when they need to make up revenue, a sneaky change is made to how Google Ads operates.
Wow.
This whole thing just makes me so unbelievably sad. I've read everything, hear all the reactions. I know this is going on. I know what smart bidding is. I'm not a dumbass. It's going to get progressively worse as years come. I know what's happening. I know what everything is. And just to see it admitted that you need to hit this quarter, we're going to kick it up to 10%, 5%, whatever percent. Oh, we're not going to 15%. People will leave. People should leave. People should leave. And there should be no ounce of trust that any advertiser ever has with Google Ads, any of their platform speech, any of their propaganda, anything that they put out. They've lost all credibility with this. There's nothing left. And everybody thinks I'm a Google conspiracist, and everybody thinks I'm nuts. I'm not. I'm right on this. And it's why everybody's so hesitant to be like, oh, let's flip it all auto-applied recommendations. Let's use AI. Let's use PMAX. They're doing these things to make more money, and they're admitting it in court. Sad.
Really sad.
Your thoughts, Shep?
I wish I was more surprised, but I'm not. I think Anthony really nailed it.
Anthony who?
Anthony Hickman.
Hickman?
Ever heard of him?
The nice thing is, next time your client's like, why aren't I at the top? You could say you're bidding too well. You're doing too good of a job at your job, and your price is the highest price. So then your competitor is actually going above you because of RGSP.
Do we know what that stands for? Did they say?
PPC Greg came up with a couple thoughts. I will look them up and get back to you.
Really good shitty pricing?
Really gruesome sales people.
PPC Greg says, my guesses are runner-up gets special placement. And his second one is revenue's gone, spike pricing.
Yeah.
Those are both pretty good.
Bard's guess, PPC Greg asked, runner-up second price.
Runner-up second place?
Price. That's Bard. But
I'm saying place, yeah.
Bard
just riffing.
Check itself.
Might wreck itself too. This is nowhere near as dramatic of a story now that I know what I'm following, but we'll get into it. So from Sarah.
And another thing.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
I'm just going to let you go. Okay. From Sarah Perez for TechCrunch. This is another one I'm just going to read. I'm going to take a page out of Greg's book. Ex-owner Elon Musk today floated the idea that the social network formerly known as Twitter may no longer be a free site. In a live-streamed conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday, Musk said that the company was, quote, moving to a small monthly payment, end quote, for the use of the X system. He suggested that such a change would be necessary to deal with the problem of bots on the platform. When I initially read this, I thought for sure it was just that he needed some money, and he said he wasn't relying on US ad dollars anymore, but it probably is that too. But to go on, it is the only way I can think of to combat vast armies of bots, he explained, because a bot costs a fraction of a penny, call it a tenth of a penny, but even if it has to pay a few dollars or something, the effective cost of bots is very high. Plus, every time a bot creator wanted to make another bot, they would need another form of payment. So this is the thing. Musk didn't say when the new subscription what it would cost, but it is described as a small amount of money.
I was like, he's not going to do this. He's not.
I don't think so. It sounds like an idea, but then the quote that was pulled for the article made it sound like they're doing it, but the framing around it sounds like it's not.
There is no way. Greg Stradamus, there is no way he is ever going to do this. That would be the single dumbest move. Here you go. Elon, here's your plan. 1, stop tweeting stupid shit. Advertisers will come back. 2, use the ad money.
Political ad money.
I also think it's stupid, but just to note, Greg Stradamus also thought he would never actually buy Twitter.
I don't think he
Finn
wanted.
Stradamus.
Oh,
Oh,
Finn
sorry.
I called it Greg Stradamus.
Yeah,
Pardon me.
You both did.
How was IMSGE so far?
What is that?
Search generative experience. I'm like,
You had a prediction about
Yeah,
that?
they're going to launch with links. They have to.
Well, we don't know yet.
They changed it, so there's links now.
Okay. We'll see. Okay, so you're
Some
up one.
listener.
I was listening.
Just not hard. I don't know. People don't even want to pay the $8 a month for premium features. So I don't know. There was a poll that Social Media Today put out on LinkedIn. It was roughly 2,000 people. 96% of them said they would not pay to keep using X if it moved to a subscriber only model. I don't even use it for free. Would you guys pay? If
you
it was
think
like
I
$1,
want to pay to be harassed by Carrie Underwood fans, of which I am one?
I would say no.
No.
Unless you get everybody to buy in on this. I know you say it's not going to happen. It would
It's
just
never going to
like,
happen. It's never going to happen.
the people that would see value in it, they're not going to see
It
value
will
because people
never
are going to
happen.
leave.
This
Okay.
will never happen.
Good. Well, I hope it doesn't. We'll see.
It will never in a million years happen.
I hope not. Well, actually, what do I care?
You don't.
You
I don't
get,
either.
You won't get 274 votes.
209.
Okay, we're going to jump back to more depressing news from Google Ads here from Odie Caspi at Odie Caspi on X. It looks like Google is going into accounts and enabling GA4 conversions as primary. This specific account has a Google Ads conversion and as a result has been double counting conversions. At Ads Liaison, how could you possibly do such a thing under our noses? And that sounds a bit dramatic, but it's not.
They're doing a lot of things under our noses.
Especially when we hear the last story.
Yeah.
It's not dramatic at all. If you're trying to get us to do more and more smart bidding, and those bid strategies think that a conversion is happening twice when it's really happening once, you're not communicating correctly with your clients. You're misleading them now. This is a big deal and really, really bad. And then if you go into your change history, if this has happened to you, it says it's been done by an internal tool. Like,
incredible.
so annoying. So Ginny responded in here at first from her at Ads Liaison account and said that is an expected behavior. I'll follow up directly so we can look into it. A couple of other people were replying and saying that it's happened to them too. Ginny has since tweeted from her account. She said, some advertisers have noticed our system making changes to GA4 conversion actions in their Google Ads account. This is the conversion swapping piece of the setup assistant migration process with the turndown of universal analytics. And she has a link to read more. She continues, ahead of the migration, advertisers that had UA properties linked with their Google Ads accounts were notified of this and the option to opt out of the setup assistant configuring certain corresponding conversions and or audiences in GA4 and applying them in ads accounts. With the turndown process taking some time, we understand that some advertisers may be caught off guard with these changes being made now and apologize for the confusion. The updates are aimed at mapping UA conversions to GA4 conversion settings for bidding and avoid duplicate measurement. I'm sorry to say advertisers might be caught off guard.
That's assuming you notice.
I know. And you're just telling everyone who's smart bidding, use our automation. That only works if it's run off of accurate conversion tracking and you're making changes and not telling people what's happening. That is such an understatement, like caught off guard. I'm telling my client something, you're making me a liar. Like,
you're ruining their livelihoods is what you're doing.
After
Incredible.
the first story, I'm like so fired up about this even more now.
That is an insane thing to do. And then to do it afterwards, and you have to have that opted out of. Incredible that, and this is how you know not a single person at Google Ads uses Google Ads, or so a single person at Google uses. There are so many just incredibly inefficient ways that things. This is a terrible idea, but somebody from the analytics team is probably just like, go do this. And people at Google Ads teams like, oh, what's Google Ads? And they're like, oh, okay, let's do it. Analytics. Ugh. And then all of a sudden, everybody's conversions are messed up. Everything's tracking incorrectly. And then good luck talking to anybody to get your money back. Good luck.
Seriously. Oh my God forbid it's PMAX. So let's just be a reminder, if you use the conversion setup wizard, even if you didn't, just go look at your conversion actions, make sure things aren't being double counted, and fix this before it's more of a problem than it probably already is.
Okay, next up in the news. Oh, we got Google Ads news. Hopefully this is some good stuff coming from Anthony Hickman. He says, so it looks like the manual bidding days are coming to an end. Just got this on an enhanced CPC bid campaign. Quote, limited by bid strategy, end quote. No explanation either.
It's
Shaking
gross.
my effing head. Limited by bid strategy would be an amazing warning. I'm team this. If you can say, hey, your target CPA is too low and it's not going to serve, that would be a great way to use something like limited by bid strategy. If you're like, hey, your target ROAS is too low, you can get it higher, and you can see all those notifications at the campaign level when just looking at all your campaigns. That'd be super helpful. So I'm just gonna read a little paragraph. Just a little paragraph here. It says, this is from Search Engine Land. However, as pointed out by digital marketing expert Greg Finn, this feature could be beneficial for smart campaigns, he explained on X. It would, however, be very useful for diagnosis purposes if it did help with smart campaigns are actually limited by too aggressive a target. That would be very nice, in fact. So I went up and I followed up with Ginny, and I said, and Ginny said, this is a relatively new indicator that may appear when the system determines the campaign can get more conversion value at a similar ROAS or conversions at the target CPA with value-based bidding strategy. You can review the recommendation, but no action is required. So she's made it seem like if you go to value-based bidding, you might do better. And I said, I'd love to hear more about this. If you get the details, is it only for manual bidding or does it work with smart bidding? For example, you have too aggressive a CPA. Ginny goes on to respond and says, hi, Greg. This shows when there's a rec to switch to smart bidding. Not sure if you saw my later response to your question or if I got lost in the thread. So sharing here, and she shared a completely different link to something completely different. And I said, yes. Thanks. So I'm reading this as the limited by bid strategy will only show when Google believes that it can do better or close to the same results with smart bidding for a manual campaign. Also, this specific limited by smart bidding strategy won't apply to campaigns currently using smart bidding. So what this all means is this is another push to get you away from manual CPC into smart bidding. If you're in smart bidding, this could actually be so helpful for you. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work to help you. It works to get you into smart bidding campaigns. And gosh, if I just knew a reason why they'd want to put you into smart bidding campaigns so you don't set bids yourself. If only there was like one reason I could think of that they'd want to do that. I don't know why. I mean, they probably just want to help us, right?
Totally.
For sure.
Or maybe the Q4 numbers need a bump. Maybe they need a bump. Maybe they just need to shake the cushions a little. Shake the cushions. So if you see this, don't even care about it. You can do an experiment and test it out. That's what it should be. It should be try an experiment. Try to do this. Try smart bidding. It shouldn't be, hey, you're limited by this.
Did anybody say they were getting like a performance dip?
It also shouldn't be limited.
Right. Is it actually
Get rid of it.
anything?
Get rid of it then.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be limited. You're giving us this option and you're just being like, oh, we can do about the same. It's not limited. It is not. It should not be limited. It should not say limited. And then what's going to happen to clients go in there and be like, oh, this is limited. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm trying to get phone orders. I can't track those. These ones I need phone orders for. It should not be limited.
Whole episode
I
is
know.
going to get like a rant
It's getting
of the
so
year
dark.
clock
I
skirt.
know. Okay, this isn't so bad. We've talked about X, we've talked about Google, now we're talking about both. Via Marketing Brew, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Did we know we were doing that? The platform formerly known as Twitter?
I've been calling it
Okay.
the Expert.
Remember when we did that for Bing ads? It's
No.
trying to make up for their dwindling revenue with programmatic advertising. So they've had the self-serve ad platform, and they have worked with advertisers directly in the past, but they also partnered with an ad tech platform called InMovie earlier this year to make ad inventory available on the open marketplace. This week, we found out that X is now partnering with Google for programmatic. So X has started using Google Ad Manager, which lets publishers serve ads programmatically, and it notes that these ads will only appear on the home feed. So it seems they haven't completely given up on
It's super smart.
advertising. Yeah.
That's smart. Like, I also think that if Elon ever tried to create an ad and run an ad, the ad platform will be totally gutted and rebuilt from scratch. Like, yes, lots of people don't want to advertise on X, but also your ad system sucks.
Mhm.
Like, both things can be true.
So hopefully this will help more people advertise on Twitter without actually having to use the platform.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a hashtag fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions. We don't influence. You make the call.
This week's Take of the Week, I'm just putting up here for a Clocksker winner for Take of the Year.
Have you guys been updating the sheet?
No.
Oh.
This
Sort of.
week's Take of the Week comes from Dennis Moons at Dennis Moons on X. Dennis has an X saying, Google has been forced to release a ton of documents for its ongoing antitrust case. This internal video on how the ads auction actually works is mind-boggling. And Dennis has a little screenshot here of an example video of somebody at Google Ads explaining the ads auction. Or maybe this isn't at Google Ads, but I believe I've seen this roughly before. And it's bid, $2. Quality high. Format impact high. Ad rank 20, cost $2. And then he just added a couple little extra columns on here. And one of those columns is the YOLO tax, plus 5%, plus 10%, plus 15%. And then there's a whole column. This is one big question mark that says RGSP. And again, to confirm, this looks like it was a video initially by MAH. So not Google, but it also might be. It looks pretty well shot. So, but I've seen that before where they talk about bids, quality, format impact, ad rank, cost. And then just make sure when you explain it to your client that there's the YOLO tax. And if you bid too high, you're going to second place.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI.
ICYMI, people.
This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked, but you shouldn't have.
ICYMI, people. This week it's from Duane Brown on LinkedIn. He says, a better built shopping feed will lead to better results in the ad account. Do the work most won't. Stop underestimating the value of a well-built shopping feed. Because if you don't have those pieces in place, it's not going to perform.
Seems simple, but so spot on.
Very important.
Now it's time for this week's Pew Pew Lightning Round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
First up in the paid universe this week, Google is launching a new tool called Creative Guidance that will use AI to give recommendations for how to improve video ad performance. This is available through the recommendations tab, our favorite place, and has been integrated into video analytics.
How can anybody take any recommendation seriously ever again?
I don't know. Some of these are fine. Some examples of what they can do is notify you if you're missing creative attributes like a brand logo or a high quality voiceover and the correct aspect ratio. It will also recommend a video length based on your marketing objective. Those were the only things listed in the article, but it seemed like there could be more, and I'm sure it's like, raise your bids.
Or don't, we'll do it for you.
Yeah. Next up from Boris Basaric at Boris Basaric on Twitter. X. Oh my! I can never do that. Can we just
You'll get it?
Make it?
It's fine. Whatever we call it, it's fine.
People
From here on
know
out,
what
it's
it
fine.
means. Yeah.
Okay, so he retweeted an image from PPC Optimizer, and it says, "Does anyone know of any platform that can use AI to optimize the headlines and descriptions of ads for better conversion?"
That was just the title of the post.
Okay, so Boris had a little caption for this. He said, "Yes, it's called Brain, and it's really powerful. You should try it sometime." Brain.
And it,
It's good.
yeah.
Next up from Paul Rooney at Paul Rooney Ecom. Google Ads is experimenting with spacing in the dashboard. Useful for you mofos with big monitors. So there's a option at the top menu where you can adjust the display spacing for large, medium, small, and extra small screens. I came back from maternity leave with a freaking huge monitor, so maybe I should try this.
You're one of those mofos.
I feel like I'm like leaning back the whole time, like looking, it's terrible. I don't know where to look on calls. I got to figure it out. Next up, Google Ads is giving updates on 2 new AI tools that were announced at Google Marketing Live. First, automatically created assets are now available for ads in Dutch, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, and Spanish, in addition to English, where it was already available. If you were out on maternity leave when this is announced, when you have them turned on at the campaign level, it allows Google to rewrite your headlines and descriptions with AI based on the content of your ad and your landing page. You can have this turn on and remove certain automatically created assets. That's nice. I haven't tested it yet. It also says, quote, for advertisers with English assets in the US and UK, automatically created assets will start using generative AI to help advertisers create even more assets and make them better tailored to people's search queries. So maybe if you tried it in the past and it wasn't great, might be worth trying again as a test.
And remember with that, Google, if you do opt into something today, what you opt into today can change later in the future. We've seen that before with some bidding. So if you opt into something today, it does not mean it will always stay the same.
Second announcement is about conversational experience. This uses AI to guide you through the search campaign setup process. You start by providing a URL, and then it just makes recommendations as you're setting things up. So in this screenshot, it has like different recommendations for headlines and descriptions, but basically it's just like telling you what to do, which is scary. Like, I think we should all be careful with that.
They should use Brain instead.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Or you could try Brain. They've been testing this, and now Google says they're making improvements to the conversational experience with, and it's going to move to beta testing for English language ads in the US and UK in the coming months. So you'll be able to test that if you want Google to tell you what to do. That's it for Bade. What's happening in organic?
All right. In organic, the Google September 2023 Helpful Content System update is rolling out. According to Barry Schwartz on Search Engine Land, he says, what is new? Google said the September 2023 Helpful Content update is rolling out with an improved classifier. It'll take about 2 weeks to complete. We'll update our ranking release history page when the rollout is complete. So that was a quote specifically from Google. And Barry goes on to say it has now specifically added new guidance about hosting third-party content and more explanation on what to do after a helpful content system update. Added points about removing content or changing dates to the help page on how to create helpful, reliable, people-first content. I ran and grabbed those posts and they say, this is from Google, are you changing the date of pages to make it seem fresh when the content is not substantially changed? That's, again, not helpful. Another point from the Google article says, or the Google Help document says, are you adding a lot of new content or removing a lot of older content, primarily because you believe it will help your search rankings overall by somehow making your site seem, quote, fresh, end quote, parentheses, no, it won't. I feel like Danny wrote that. That's like Danny's humor. And then lastly, Barry had a X showing that they changed the wording, saying instead of that content had to be helpful content written by people for people in search results, to instead saying helpful content created for people in search results. So added in that ability to have AI in opening that up so that it doesn't have to be written by people for people, but it just has to be written for people, I guess. Does that make sense?
I guess. Sounds like the Declaration of Independence. A little bit.
Sounds kind of like FUBU, actually.
All right, it sure does. And what's that noise?
It's time for Barry's Charts with Greg.
All right, and on Barry's Charts with Greg this week, we've got a few charts showing the helpful content update in action. One of my favorites was we really had two runaway winners here. The Systrix had pulled out a bunch of different sites and just outed them, showing like exactly, their visibility in their Systrix visibility index. And to me, this just looked like a national park. If I look at this chart, I see a national park. And I'm sorry, Trek Explorer, that your visibility tanked, but it does look like a nice little butte there,
Indeed.
So second place. And then another one this is up there for chart of the year, is from SEMrush. And every chart is going like bonkers. And SEMrush is like, nope, this is normal. And every single day was either high or very high. And when every other tool is like going off a cliff or like spiking, SEMrush is like, nope, normal. So I just
Normal
love
is
it.
the cliff here, though.
It's the cliff.
It is on trend. It's just backwards.
That's where we are,
Yeah.
where normal is the abnormal.
I don't think we have a category for chart of the year. Oh, we do.
And that was Barry's Charts with Greg, an audio program about visual charts. All right. Also from The Verge, they noticed that TikTok has quietly added Wikipedia snippets to some of the search result pages for people, places, and events. They spoke to TikTok and they are partnering to bring that information directly with an app. The feature's been live for a few months, but doesn't appear in the company formally or that it wasn't formally announced. This is a big deal. We had a story last week that many younger folks choose TikTok as their go-to search engine. Mm-hmm. And if TikTok can actually build more helpful links along with the content around, what restaurant to eat in a certain city and then have different links out, like could be a game changer. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know what Google is. Google's not great. Another company gunning for Google is Amazon. So more for bad Google news Amazon looks to be taking aim at Google Lens, and Amazon had a post saying 5 ways Amazon is making it easier to search and shop for products. The first one is that you can take a picture and you can search for the combination of images and text. There's somebody taking a picture of the refrigerator, and it's finding what the specific drawer is, and it looks like it's a Frigidaire drawer, and they're shooting it right to Amazon. That's really helpful.
It's pretty cool.
And honestly, more helpful than Google Lens. Like, you're just going to be able to buy the product or at least see the product name.
Yeah.
Like, that's more helpful, I guess, unless it's like some design or something. And what's the deal? I know Julie Bacchini messaged me this. Do you see those football things where like Aaron Donald is wearing like some designer clothing and people like taking pictures with Google Lens? I mean, how do I get that look? Like, A, there's only one Aaron Donald on this planet. You're not Aaron Donald.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah.
And then B, like, this is like high-end fashion and like,
Let me just get that.
I don't know, like,
Yeah.
look up Aaron Donald. Tables. Can you confirm Aaron Donald?
Any
Big,
relation
strong
to
man.
Donald?
Yeah, but I think more importantly, Stefan Diggs is also in that commercial.
But like, what was he wearing? He looked like a magician.
He
Fashion.
looked way better than Aaron Donald.
Didn't he have that hat on?
Yep.
Like a magician hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to look like magician Stefan Diggs, use Google Lens. And if you want to buy something on Amazon, you use their new tool. The other things Amazon is announcing is that you can visualize products on tables and countertops, which is pretty cool.
Tables?
I
Wearing
call them
products?
tapes.
You can also discover popular products with sales trend information. You can search with the sharing feature on mobile, and they're making it easier to reorder previous purchases. So a lot coming to Amazon. Coming to a search engine results page near you, Barry Schwartz X'd out that Google is testing highlighting text in blue in the normal search result snippets. You've probably seen this before when you click on a link and you go to that website and you have that highlighted in a certain color of the specific area on the site. It's very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
There is a test in the wild that Jonas Sickler spotted. And the example said like he was searching for content strategy, and a bunch of the text that was being pulled, some of them look like feature snippets. Barry had said it's not just the featured snippets family that it's working for, but it's actually highlighted where the query matched what was pulling through in the SERPs. So make sure you're matching appropriately with your descriptions and feature snippets.
Yep.
All right, we have 3 new things coming to Bard. First is you can have connections to other Google products such as Gmail, Docs, Drives, Maps, YouTube, and Google Flights. And you could, again, like summarize your unread emails, stuff like that. The second thing coming to Bard is that some of the existing English features like image uploading and the inclusion of search images is rolling out to 40 new languages. And then this is my absolute favorite. This might be one of my most favorite features. Can we make a clock score for this?
For a favorite feature?
Can we make a clock score for stop most useless clock score category?
Can this win
No.
it? If this wins it, then yes. Because the third thing is that if a user clicks on a Google It feature button, the G icon next to a Bard answer, Bard will check the line. And if there's any content across the web to substantiate it, and in response, the company said in the statement that it will provide a breakdown with applicable links. So Bard can self-check itself now and see if the answer it gave was correct. Why wouldn't you just do that initially? Can we just make Bard do that and be like, hey, whatever you said,
who
is
am
it
I
true?
to say Bard is wrong and check it?
And then Anthony Hickman says, I've got a great idea. Let's use the thing that trains the thing that gets stuff wrong to fact check the thing that gets stuff wrong. Brilliant. Why wouldn't this just be a standard feature? Why do you have to you have to be the one to be like, hey, are you sure, Bard? Like, Bard, just be sure. What are we doing?
Who knows?
Okay. All right. Another thing that Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail on X says, I'm surprised I haven't seen this at Think with Google quote in my feed yet. And it is a quote about marketing strategies from Think with Google. And this appears that they are promoting this. And it says, in my own team here at Google, we've been experimenting with Bard in our SEO content production to create efficiency. So not only does the helpful content now just have to not be written by people, but just for people, Google is using it in their own SEO. In related news, Google's visibility index has dropped off a cliff. All right.
That's normal, right? According to the chart.
Normal. All right. And YouTube has some nice little new insights element spotted by Glenn Gabe. within YouTube Studio, which will now enable you to see how many clips have been created from your uploads and how many views those clips have subsequently generated. So somebody's clipping your video, your short or whatever, and they're posting it on their stuff. You can now see how many views that gets. That's great. Love that. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it. Okay, from Christina in our Discord channel, community.marketingclock.com. You can come in there and yell with me if you want. I'm back in there mixing it up until soccer starts in 2 weeks. But anyway, the post from Google says how it works. Any free listing with a valid checkout or cart URL will display a checkout capability, which redirects ready-to-buy customers directly to your checkout or cart page for products with a valid checkout URL. The existing visit site link will remain for all free listings, allowing users who want to learn more about a product to visit the existing product details page. This is awesome. This is actually something very helpful. Your product will show up on the free listings, and you can just get that exact button there that says buy now and go off of Google to the retailer site. That's amazing. So for this, you have to opt in. The minimum requirements are you have to be opted into the free listings, and then you need to follow all the free listing policies. And you, again, have to have that valid checkout or cart URL. Check out all the links in community.marketingclock.com when it comes out on Friday, or marketingclock.com/newsletter, and we will get you this and you can see exactly how to set this up. Okay, we've got some changes coming to how-to and FAQ rich results. We talked about this in August, first week of August, maybe mid-August, whatever. But we had talked about the FAQ results not showing on desktop. And now as of September 13th, Google search will no longer show how-to rich results on desktop, which means the result type is now deprecated. So if you don't recall, you go listen to the show right around August 8th or so, and you can see that it's still going to exist for mobile, but on desktop, you don't get how-to, you don't get FAQ.
Any reasoning behind this?
It's a basic FU. So I don't understand it. I like those things. I like being able to see that, but I'll have to search on my phone. Okay, and that's it in organic.
No, we have to talk about Taylor Swift.
This is an organic digital marketing
It is an
section.
organic search story.
I am woefully unaware of this.
So we've been waiting to hear about the vault tracks from 1989 Taylor's version, which is being released on October 27th.
She recorded as a newborn?
No, the album is like a rebirth because it's her first pop album at the time. So it's 1989, the year she was born. Listen, it's Parents' Night. Greg's got to get out of here.
This is a digital marketing show.
This is about Google search. Okay. So she's revealing the vault tracks. We've been waiting. She posts on her Instagram. She's like,
who's vault tracks?
Tell me when it's over if the search was worth the pain. It sounds like a marketing a clock title that I wrote. No. So I knew right away, go over to Google search, you search Taylor Swift, the vault comes up, there's all these puzzles, you unscramble it. When 33 million puzzles were solved, we got the list of vault tracks. So it all went down on Google. Was it the tracks you wanted? I have no idea. I haven't heard them yet. The titles seem promising. And this is like one of her best albums, so I'm sure they're amazing. And then, so she was like, it was like the biggest search for Taylor Swift in history. What does she do with that notoriety? She uses it to bring awareness to Sophie Turner. And she's Team Sophie, and we're all Team Sophie because they went out to dinner last night.
Ooh, I see the vault. So if you want to see what Shep's talking about, go to Google and search for Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And you open the vault and Travis Kelce pops out.
Whatever. She loves an Easter egg, and we just love a SEO queen. Any questions?
I do not know how to segue into social, so I'm just going to start. Elon tweeted, you can now hide your likes, but I recommend keeping them open and just using bookmarks for interesting posts. If you want to hide your likes tab so no one else can see it, congratulations, rejoice, you can do that.
Shep, does your neighbor have a Twitter or an X?
Probably.
Be interesting to see their likes.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
So X Daily posted on X News, ID verification is now live on web, and there's a video from X that shows you just how easy it can be. If you care, go ahead.
But it's things like this why you will never have to pay for X.
But 2% of in that survey I was talking about, 2% of people said they would pay for ID verification. Did you see that?
2%
Nobody
of people
said
don't know how to
anything
use
about
surveys.
that. Yeah. Nobody said anything about that, but they just responded that way. There is something, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when they were, or maybe it was last, I don't remember, they were going to collect biometric data. So there is a disclaimer on this that says I consent if you upload your ID. I consent to X and something else. Using images of my ID and my selfie, because to verify you have to take a selfie with your ID, which is adorable. I hope you look like your photo, including extracted biometric data to confirm my identity, yada, yada, yada. So you are signing up for this if you get verified. So just FYI. Another post on X from Space Pseudoer. X has changed the verified orgs icon. It is now a squatty lightning bolt. So I'm just really happy to be bringing you the critical news. If you see that, verified organization now. Oh, speaking of surveys, there was one conducted across 1,000 whole Americans from reviews.org. And as they put it, the standout fact that all marketers and influencers out there need to know is that video killed the social media star. Basically, they're saying video is important. YouTube is the most popular social media app. Over 70% of all age groups use it. It's universally appealing. I feel like they use it in different ways, though, so you should dig into that a little bit. Other key takeaways from the survey: Facebook is the most widely used social media app still, particularly among millennials and Gen X, not Gen Z, Gen X. YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok follow that, respectively. People are spending 2+ hours a day on social, but only across 4 platforms: TikTok, Tumblr, YouTube, Facebook.
Wait, one question.
Tumblr.
Last time Shep was on maternity, you finished Instagram. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Did you finish it again?
No, I thought they got rid of that feature. I did not.
Did you finish TikTok?
Also, TikTok. I wasn't on TikTok at the time. You cannot finish TikTok. Okay. No way.
Can you finish Tumblr?
I did finish all 10
seasons.
Tumblr. Oh, who is? I did finish all 10 seasons of Vanderpump Rules. Wow. And then got the haircut that they all have. Team Ariana.
You have very nice hair.
Please continue. Thank you.
There's nothing really here. If you are driving social strategy or running any social ads, check this. Again, it's only 1,000 people and it is only Americans that were surveyed, but you can still probably glean some insights from it if you care. And in that whole survey, Threads barely made a splash, but they are still trying to grow and have added some new features. These are pretty minor too. Updated post activity display. If you want to look at things broken out, congrats to you. You can between likes, quotes, and reports. People are reporting Threads already. I guess it's a nasty place. Probably not. You can now follow a specific thread without having to follow a user. I feel like that is handy if you want to follow a conversation, but not a person. You can do that. And that is all in the app. They have added the ability on the web version that's already existed on mobile to quote other posts. So no edit option yet, but your boyfriend, Mr. Masseri, keeps teasing at it, Shep. So it's possible that it's coming.
You know it's not going to work because Mark Zuckerberg doesn't use it.
He uses it like once every 4 weeks.
Once every few days, but it's all business. Like, oh, Threads has search.
Like,
you're not using it because it stinks.
Yeah,
that at least is something Elon does well. Is he is a very active user
and very loud.
Actually, he uses it very freaking poorly because he lost all his advertisers. But at least he uses it. Mm-hmm. That's how you know he cares about it.
Speaking of care, I guess there's something here. Last up, TikTok announced a new tool for creators to contribute to transparency around AI-generated content. They also noted that they'll be testing ways to detect it automatically and label it. So if you're using the new tool, it will display a message below your username that says that the creator has labeled something as AI-generated. However, you don't have to go back and label old posts. It's only going forward as long as your posts fall under the existing synthetic media policy. There's nothing really to be penalized here for. These labels will be rolling out as of the 19th, which was yesterday for recording, earlier this week if you're listening, but they may not be visible to everyone until that rollout is complete. We don't know how long that'll take, but if you see it, it just means that either TikTok detected it themselves or the creator labeled it as such. So I'm fine with transparency. That's all nice. Deepfakes are fun though.
Now it's time for this week's WTH.
Misguided.
I hated all of that.
Like, who does that?
Just get rid of it.
Where we rant, rave, and roll our eyes about a trending digital marketing topic.
What are we coming to?
Honestly.
See what had us asking.
WTH.
This week.
This week's WTH comes from Search Engine Land and really MSN. It's AI gone wrong.
As opposed to...
Very wrong. Very, 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 very wrong. AI is going to get sued. Microsoft is going to get sued. Because there was an MSN article that was supposed to be paying tribute to an NBA star, Brandon Hunter, that passed. And AI didn't do the best job.
No.
This would have been one of those better written by people, for people articles here. Because unfortunately, the post on MSN said, again, Brandon Hunter, thoughts with you and your family, passed away. The title reads, Brandon Hunter, useless at 42.
Not good.
Understatement of the year. Can we make a clock here for that? Saying, again, I know you can't say certain words and you can't say, probably it's banned from saying like dead or something like that, but to say useless is terrible. And then even further in the article, it says that he performed for the Boston Celtics and Orlando Magic, has handed away at the age of 42.
It's like a synonym for passed. I passed it to you. I handed it to you.
Right,
That's
but it must
how
not
bad
be able
this
to
is.
say past for some reason, or
Maybe.
just
But like, what? It
regurgitate
just
it.
doesn't. It just if there's.
Death related, write it
You
yourself.
should write it yourself. Yeah.
And in the search engine land article, they said that MSN laid off 24 editorial staff a few years ago with plans to replace the writers with generative AI. And boy, is that not looking good right now.
That sounds pretty useless.
And that brings us to our real life segment, straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for Working Hard or Hardly Working, where we talk about what's going on in our IRL work, good, bad, or otherwise.
Working hard for me this week is the Carrie Underwood trolls. Hardly working for me. Recommendation to both of you. Google Meet resolution when we're doing trainings is terrible, and I think Zoom is better.
Yeah,
And
and you
you
can't
can
record on
see
Google Meet either.
The screen better. And Slack is even better. So for like
Don't
screen
you dare.
sharing.
Huddles?
But the resolution you like can't see on Google Meet.
Fair.
And you try to zoom in, it zooms in on the people's faces, not the screen. So let's try to use something else when we're doing that.
Zoom it is. You're welcome.
Okay, something working hard is myself. Mr. 60%, they call me. Went 3 out of 5 for our picks. If you want to join in and play along and pick who you think what NFL team is going to win against the spread, hop on over. It's bit.ly/marketingopicks or bit.ly/marketingopicks. And you can play along with us. We're going to have prizes. We got some really cool stuff. We should have it next week. We've got some really, really, really fun stuff coming. We're going to have a lot of giveaways. It's not too late. You can jump in. I think Morty only got 1 pick right. Morty Oberstein from the Surfs Up podcast. He only got 1 right. But me, I'm just consistent tables. I'm Mr. 60%. Right?
Yeah, it's really something, Greg.
What'd you do, Tables? 60%? 80%? What'd you get?
I had 2 out of 5.
Okay, 40% there.
We're coming this week.
Did I get any?
Against the spread thing is really throwing all of us like
Yeah, it makes it hard.
non-sports people off. Nobody knows what that
what
means.
is a spread?
And I'm going 5 for 5 this
Sorry,
week.
I
just
don't
for
have a
record.
bookie.
Okay, but the real thing that is working hard is I got allow listed for some demand gen campaigns and some accounts, and I set up and was testing those lookalike audiences. One thing that's really cool that I haven't heard or knew about is you can make those lookalike audiences that go from 2.5% match to 5% match to 10% match. They call, I forget the naming they call it, like near, close, wide, or whatever matching. But if you make that audience can be used in any other campaign. So you could take the audience, use it in your YouTube and say, I want to use the 5% lookalike or the 2.5% lookalike. So it's a really cool way, knowing that similar audiences are gone, that you can use like a better version of optimized targeting. It just makes it 2, 5, or 10%. So I didn't know that you would be able to take that out of demand gen and put it into other campaigns, but I love it. I'm testing it. I'll let you know what's working better, optimized versus a lookalike. And I'm just really excited for them.
You know what I'm excited for? All the surprises in my Google Docs this week. This happened to me as well as Heather on our team. We were looking at the same document, so that could be, but long story short, I was previewing a link to Julia from our team's LinkedIn profile, and a picture of Rihanna popped up doing some makeup. Not sure why that happened. The link went to the right place and all of the information around the picture was correct, but that's not Julia. And then there was a link to the Agency Scoop podcast, which when I hovered over it, it says it was going to go to CrossFit Games on YouTube and had a whole description about how it is the premier test to find the fittest person on earth.
What's that?
Heck if I know, but that doesn't, what is going on? I've never seen that before. It was really screwed up. And when you click the links, they went to the right place. So I don't know what's happening in Google Docs, but if you see it, just don't panic, but click your links, I guess. I don't think this week's cool tool has an official name, but it's useful just the same.
That was lame.
Yame. From IMG to go.com. It is a suite of image editing tools, and it's their image resizer, which lets you start with an existing image. You can resize it by pixel, percentage, and device. It's quick and dirty, but it's totally free. I had to use it this week because I just needed to get something fast, and it works fine. They also have other tools. You can remove backgrounds, compress things, watermark images, crop, and more. So if you just lack design resources, software, or time, it's worth a bookmark. As always, we'll have a link in our newsletter, marketingoclock.com/newsletter, as well as on Discord, community.marketingoclock.com. So pick your poison and check it out.
This week's must-read marketing article of the week could not have been launched at a better time. This is a very in-depth article called "Are You Being Manipulated by Google Ads?" by
No.
Amy Hebden. Amy has a masterclass in everything that you need to know about why Google Ads might be tricking you into worse performance. And she has what deceptive patterns are, the default settings and hidden options, how Google Ads uses deceptive patterns, unexpected and misleading defaults, the obstacle course that you have to jump through to get to certain elements, how they sneak into basket and force choice. These are all like real terms for smart people.
Can't relate.
She goes, how to protect yourself from these deceptive patterns, the completion bias, the allure of the check mark, how you think things are done, but you really have to hit that more, how Google Ads capitalizes on your need to complete, what ad strength, optimization score can do to you, how to and then how to outsmart the completion bias, what the framing effect is and how data is presented matters, how Google Ads frames your choices and how to protect yourself from it, the authority bias, how you're trading on trust and how Google Ads exploits your authority bias, the misrepresentation from Google representatives and how to reclaim your own authority, and then unmasking the covert persuasion tactics in Google Ads.
I love this.
Couldn't have come at a better time. This one, must read. I'm going to put it up for must read marketing article of the week of the year for a clock scare. Thank you, Amy.
And now on to our playlist of curated songs to work to. You can head over to playlist.marketingoclock.com to listen to Marketing a Playlist. Jess Bud, what will you be adding this week?
I'm going with The Worst Is On Its Way remix by Korn, Health, Danny Brown, and Michi Darko.
I'm going to go with Slipping Away by Leisure.
I will be going with Getting Back by Olivia Rodrigo. All right, that does it for today's show.
It is now officially not Marketing O'Clock.
Thanks for listening.
We miss you already.
I can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join.
Welcome to this week's Shootin' the Heck. We're after our famous Friday news show. We don't talk about marketing anymore. We just
Shoot the heck.
I have a new game, but it's sure to be everyone's favorite.
I'm so excited.
You're going to look at my screen.
I'm not. I won't.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the name of a musician, and you're going to buzz in with your name and try to tell me the most popular song listed on their Spotify profile.
Okay.
I love this game.
I'll tell you after initially looking at it, it seems like recency kind of skews the results. It's like what's hot right now.
Okay.
Tables, are you playing?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Okay. Number 1, Elton John.
Jess, Tiny Dancer.
No.
Tables.
Tabes, what's your guess?
Rocket Man.
No. Greg?
Your song?
No, and I was going to give points to number 2 here because number 1 is Cold Heart, PNAU remix, but number 2 is I'm Still Standing.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Benny and the Jets?
It wasn't 1 or 2. Okay.
Should ban that song from Spotify.
Number 2,
Benny! Sorry.
Madonna.
Jess,
Craig.
Like a Prayer.
No.
Shooting Star.
No! It's
Isn't
Lucky,
it Lucky
Star.
Star?
Lucky Star.
Tabes.
I have no idea.
Beautiful Stranger.
I was going to give points for top 2 again. Can you people get it together? Number 1 was Popular, which is some remix. Number 2 was Material Girl.
This
I'm
game
taking
is
this
hard.
back. Every top one is some remix by some DJ.
This is
Slipknot.
nobody's favorite game. Slipknot, Jess, Duality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Greg.
finally some points on the board.
This
The
is going
musician is Lionel Richie.
Greg.
Yes.
Dancing on the Ceiling.
What?
Is that a song?
No.
Okay. Dancing in the Streets?
I don't think that's Lionel Richie.
Okay.
I don't even know what his songs are.
This is the worst
I
game
thought this
ever
was an
made.
easy
Yeah.
one.
This is
This is
absolutely
everyone's
terrible.
favorite game.
This is not
The
anyone's
answer was
favorite.
All Night Long. You people have no taste.
Oh, we know that song.
Taylor Swift.
Greg,
Yes.
the anti-hero.
That's number 2. I'll give you points.
Well, what's number 1? Maybe wait, don't say it. I'm not gonna get it.
Cruel Summer.
Greg, the Kelsey Brothers podcast.
No.
Oh.
She's not dating a Kelsey brother. Okay. Maybe you just don't like my artist. Metallica?
Jess.
Yes.
Enter Sandman.
Yes.
Okay, I have 2 points. Just so everyone knows, I'm winning.
Jess has 2. Greg has 1. Tabes, I think, isn't playing anymore. Limpy Biscuits.
Jess.
Greg.
Tables.
Nookie.
No.
Break
Greg.
Stuff.
What?
Yeah, it's break stuff.
Get out of
Gotcha.
here.
You're not even a fan.
I am a huge fan.
Snoop Dogg.
Jess?
Yep.
Does he do gin and juice?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's what the song's called. But that's not the answer.
Okay.
Murder Was the Case That Gave Me, Greg.
No. None but a G thing.
Oh.
Come on, people. Okay, here's my last one. Mike Posner.
Greg,
Yes.
I'm going to go with the I Took a Pill in Ibiza remix.
Correct.
That's not fair. He just won. I was winning the whole time.
No, I think you're tied.
No, we were tied.
No,
we
we
both
def-
had
I
2.
definitely won.
He just won.
Okay, well, Greg won, and you guys have no taste. So we'll see you next week.